Hi guys, so today I'm going to be making my most recent breakfast staple. So it is a rush bowl. So there's a whole company called Rush Bowls and they make something called a power bowl. And I absolutely love having it, but they're like $11, $12 a bowl. And so I took it upon myself to really figure out how to make it at home. And so I went and I bought a really nice Ninja blender that has an actual smoothie bowl container and a smoothie bowl setting on it, so it's pretty nice. So a few of the ingredients. So I have blueberries, bananas, and then I also have a mixed berry that has some raspberries in it. I have a frozen yogurt, so Kemp's is a really good brand. I'm not sure if they're more local to Texas because I've only been able to find it in one of our more local grocery stores. But it has no sugar added and it's fat-free. But any brand that has a really good nutrient value on the back label, that should work just fine. And then I have my Redcon 1 MRE Light Protein. That's pretty lean. And then I have just your standard blue almond breeze milk here. And then I have some Whole Foods granola that I'm gonna sprinkle on top. And then I always put peanut butter on there. I personally like it with the natural ground peanut butter a little bit better than like your standard smooth peanut butter, just because it kind of gives it some texture. So to start off with, I take my milk and I pour it up to the liquid fill line. So it's not very much milk. For those of you who don't have a specific container, I can measure out the amount of milk for you. Let's see. So it is, give or take, about 100 to 110 grams of milk. And then, oh, I forgot my oatmeal. So I typically put anywhere from 20 to 25 grams of oatmeal in it just to give it some thickness and texture. All right. And then I go ahead and put one of my frozen fruits in, so I'll put blueberries in first. So I always use 50 grams of these. Really off. And then I'll go ahead and put in a whole scoop or a serving of my protein. So this specific protein has a serving size of 29 grams, so I just measure that out on my scale. And really any flavor will work. I personally like either vanilla or this MRE Light makes a blueberry that's pretty good because it mixes really well with me having some blueberries in it. Then I go ahead and I put my frozen bananas in. So 50 grams once again for this. Okay, and then I put my dairy mixture. I was using raspberries for this, but I just ran out, and so now I'm having to use a mixture. This specific one has raspberries, cherries, and blueberries built in, so it's pretty good if you like cherries. You can get it at Trader Joe's. Right, and then last but not least, I will put in my frozen yogurt. So our serving size on this specifically says 96 grams for 24 carbs. So to get about 12-ish carbs, I'll just use half of a serving, which is plenty to adequately make the recipe. I'll just scoop that out, put that in there. So we have about 45 grams there. All right, this is where I go ahead and I try my best to shove everything into this tiny little container. All right, so I go over to this blender. So the one that I bought is one of the really good Ninja Foodies. I got it from Target. So it's nice because it just twists on, and it actually has the bowl setting. So there, and then you can just hit start. All right. Now we have everything here. So before we started the video, I went ahead and put my bowl in the freezer. So I used just one of these like standard, I guess it's a ceramic bowl, so it gets really cold. Then I open this up, scoop it out. So really what I would consider the perfect texture is kind of like thick like this. You don't want it to be thin and watery because then it's more of a smoothie and less so of an actual like bowl that you would want to spoon out and eat. And then so really how you know is if you can hold it upside down and it doesn't just pour out. It's pretty thick. So I think this recipe is really best for off season, whenever it's okay to have, plus or minus a few carbs, a couple fats, that kind of thing. Just because whenever you do make this recipe, unfortunately, you'll have a little bit left over in the container. I always like, after I finish my bowl, to kind of go back and try my best to get all of it out and eat it. But of course, nonetheless, you are gonna have a little bit left over. And I know whenever you're in prep and you're in that mindset, that's not something that you like to do, is leave food over. All right, so we got most of that out. Okay, so I come back, just kind of smooth it out, come back to my scale, and then I scoop out, I like to do just a standard tablespoon or 16 grams of peanut butter, but however much you are allotted fat-wise for the day, go for it. The more the better in my opinion. Okay, and then last but not least, we have the granola. So I just use a standard like oats and honey granola. So it's actually, this is one of the ones from Whole Foods, so it's made with brown rice. The actual oats that they make granola with, sugar and some honey. So it's pretty natural, it's really, really good. So I just go ahead and sprinkle it around like this. And I do about a half serving, once again, just for my macros there. And voila, we have the yogurt bowl. Hi guys, so now we're moving on to my pre-workout meal. So I really, really enjoy Pride cream of rice because it's rice, but it's flavored, and so it just makes for a really, really good meal, especially with some peanut butter. And so typically I do 70 grams for my pre-workout, but today I'm actually knocking it down to 50 to give me a little bit of carbs to play with at the end of my meal, or the end of my day for a surprise going forward as you watch this video. And so I'm really very, very particular about what kind of bowl I use for this cream of rice, just because of the way it cooks. And so I like to use one of these. So I turn on my scale, put in the bag here. All right, so I'm about to pour with my scoop 50 grams of cream of rice here. Okay, so I put just, a few ounces of water in there, just enough to kind of fill up the bowl. All right, so to explain why I'm standing on a chair, it's because I cannot reach our microwave and see over into my cream of rice to make sure it's just right, because our microwave's too high. I'm only 5'2", for those of you who don't know me. Ooh, so we kind of exploded it just a bit, which is okay. So this is kind of how it should come out, kind of thick like that, and Jell-O. And then I like to set mine in the freezer for about 5 to 7 minutes, just so it kind of solidifies and it's not so hot that you scald your mouth off. All right, so for my protein source, I have these amazing turkey breasts. So I'll cut out 85 grams, which is about 3 ounces of this, as my protein. And then I top them off with this amazing Jihu sugar-free original barbecue sauce. All right, so now we've finished the let it settle for about an hour. Now we're at the gym. I'm here with Vanessa, one of Luke's clients, and we're about to hit push day. So we are going to start with just your standard bilateral dumbbell lateral raise. I always like to do like either 2 to 3 warm-up progressions. Just kind of progressing the weight as the warm-ups go on until I feel like I'm really ready and warmed up to do my top set. So I just did my first set, so now I have my second. So I got 10 there, so I matched my logbook, but I'm gonna drop down to 25. I think my logbook says 13 the last time I did this movement, so I'll at least try to get 13, good quality ones out of it.
wife, Emily, by the way.
Are you Emily?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Can you take our picture real quick?
Yes.
Get a shirt in it? I got this, man. You're good. All right.
So we just finished up our dumbbell lateral raises. So now we're going to move into an incline chest press. So it's a lot of shoulder, a little bit of upper chest movement, which is just perfect for what I need in figure. And we will do, I think it'll be 2 or 3 sets here. Yep, 2 sets here. Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
God, it's so heavy today.
Come on. Go. You. Come on.
So we just finished our high incline dumbbell press. So we're moving on to the reverse pec deck. And so here at Destination we have this really nice primer scene, so it's super adjustable. And I just adjust it completely close to each other so that way you get the most optimal feel from your rear delts. So for this movement, I find myself, so it moves back and forth, not just medially and laterally. So as I go on, I find myself bringing the bars closer and closer to my body. So it's important to remember mentally that whenever you're doing this, to come out and whatever path you choose, just to kind of stick with that consistently across the board instead of coming closer to your body and doing it, because it takes the force out of your rear delts. Okay, so now it's time to do single arm leaning dumbbell laterals. So for these, we have this here, just something to hang on to that's steady. Just grab and just kind of angle yourself, and your dumbbell will be in this hand. So that way you get, the most out of that medial delt. I feel like I get a really good contraction with it versus the rope, which, I've had the rope in my plan before too. All right, so now we're finished with the shoulder focused portion of our session. And now we're gonna go into our more tricep focused movements. So that includes this tricep curl bar push down, along with some dips for a more comprehensive tricep approach. As far as the push downs go, this is one of my favorite bars just because it allows me good solid balance with the bar, so that way I can get the most out of really pushing down to contract my tricep. So on this movement, I basically like to glue my elbows to my side. Because whenever you start moving your elbows, you start including muscles that aren't supposed to be working. So really keeping those elbows at the side and just moving your forearms and your hands is a good way to set this up. You can like see your tricep contracting really good. So now we have our last movement, which is our dips. So this pry machine has a lot of adjustments on it. So I just usually put the weight where it feels comfortable, move the bars inwards so I'm kind of at a 90 degree angle to my body here. And then kind of the same concept as on the tricep push down. I try to keep my elbows more towards my side instead of moving all around where I start getting my trap and my neck involved. And you'll note the next day, as Clinton had told me a little bit ago, if you do this movement wrong, you'll wake up with a sore neck the next day. Did it feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Maybe it felt funny. Okay. Now I'm ready. Ooh, it actually felt really good today. Than it usually does. Usually I feel like I'm all up in my neck. So that's a wrap. We finished our push session. Got some really good shoulder movements and our tricep movements in today. Somehow we managed to get through in about an hour and 10 minutes or so. I think it's because we really stuck to the session and didn't do too much talking. So yeah, I will see you at the next meal. All right, so we are at Yokohama. Tonight I'm doing kind of like a macro matched meal. So I actually have 3 meals left, which equals a little over 100 carbs. I think about 25 fats and maybe like 50 or 60 protein. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of track what I eat tonight, not go, anything crazy. And the reason for the leftover food is so that way I can sit down and enjoy my food without worrying about really, going over my macros. Hi guys, thanks for watching my push day. I hope that you guys got something really good out of it. If you could like the video, maybe comment below, and then subscribe to our page for more additional content. And until then, happy holidays.